Welcome to TAEDES412, Design and Develop Plans for Vocational Training. Today we will explore how to design, document, and review vocational training plans that align with nationally recognized training products, organizational requirements, and the 2025 outcome standards. This unit focuses on the critical planning work that occurs before any training is actually delivered. A well-designed vocational training plan provides a clear roadmap for trainers, learners, and the organization. It identifies what will be delivered, who the learners are, how training will be structured, what resources will be required, and how the training will support learners to achieve the intended vocational outcomes. By the end of this tutorial, you should be able to explain the main components of a vocational training plan and identify the key considerations involved in developing one. TAEDES412 describes the skills and knowledge required to design, develop, and document plans for vocational training. This training may be delivered by trainers or workplace-based facilitators. The planning process itself is comprehensive, involving several key stages from initial analysis to detailed session planning. We must distinguish the training plan from the assessment plan. While they must align, the training plan focuses specifically on how learners develop their skills and knowledge. The planning process involves identifying the purpose and objectives of the training, analyzing the characteristics and needs of the target learner group, and selecting appropriate nationally recognized training products. We then move into planning the sequence and structure of training, selecting suitable delivery methods and learning activities, identifying required facilities, equipment, and learning resources, and finally developing individual session plans. This applies across face-to-face, online, and blended delivery contexts. The first stage is to clarify the training need. Before selecting content or developing learning activities, the designer must understand exactly why the training is required. This need might arise from a qualification requirement, an identified workplace skills gap, a change in legislation, or a requirement to support specific vocational outcomes. We must base our plan on verified information and documented consultation rather than assumptions. The training designer should consult with relevant stakeholders. Depending on the context, this includes employers, industry representatives, subject matter experts, and even the learners themselves. Consultation helps confirm the intended outcomes, delivery constraints, and workplace expectations. A strong training plan is built on this verified information, ensuring that the design truly meets the needs of the learners and the industry they are entering. The next stage is to analyze the target learner group. Training should never be designed for an undefined or generic audience. We must describe the learners who will participate and identify characteristics that may affect training design. This analysis ensures that our methods, resources, and support arrangements are appropriate and inclusive for the specific group we are teaching. This analysis includes their existing skills and knowledge, previous education, work experience, and language, literacy, numeracy, and digital skills. We also consider cultural backgrounds, accessibility requirements, employment status, and their reasons for undertaking the training. For example, a program for experienced workers seeking recognition will look very different from one designed for learners entering an industry for the first time. Inclusive design improves participation and outcomes for everyone. Once the training need and learner group are understood, the designer selects the relevant nationally recognized training product. This might be a qualification, a skill set, or a specific unit of competency. It is vital that we access the current version through the National Training Register and interpret the product carefully, rather than relying on unit titles alone or outdated versions of a program. For a unit of competency, you must review the application, elements and performance criteria, foundation skills, range of conditions, and both performance and knowledge evidence. If the training is part of a larger qualification, you must also consider packaging rules and core elective relationships. The training plan should clearly identify the selected products, including the correct codes, titles, and versions, ensuring they are appropriate for the vocational outcome. The vocational training plan must clearly define the objectives and intended outcomes of the training. Training objectives explain what the program is intended to achieve overall, while learning outcomes explain exactly what learners should know or be able to do by the end. These outcomes must align with the training product and be written clearly enough to guide trainers in their selection of content and activities. For example, an objective should be more specific than just stating that learners will understand workplace safety. A stronger outcome might state that learners will be able to identify workplace hazards, apply relevant risk controls, and follow organizational reporting procedures. Training outcomes should reflect actual workplace performance rather than knowledge alone. Vocational training is about helping learners apply skills in realistic work-related contexts. The next step is to structure and sequence the training. Sequencing refers to the order in which skills and knowledge are introduced, applied, and consolidated. Effective sequencing generally moves from simple concepts to more complex tasks, and from trainer-supported activities to more independent performance. The selected delivery mode, whether classroom, online, or blended, must suit the learner group and the training product. We also need to determine the total duration and how time will be allocated across topics, practical activities, workplace practice, and revision. For example, practical workplace skills cannot be developed through passive online content alone. Learners need demonstrations, supervised practice, and access to industry-standard equipment. A logical progression across sessions helps build both learner capability and confidence as they move towards competence. Training methods should be selected according to the learning outcomes, learner characteristics, and delivery context. Experienced trainers should avoid designing programs that depend too heavily on simple presentations. Learners need opportunities to apply their learning, receive feedback, and reflect. The plan must also identify all required resources, from industry equipment to learner guides, ensuring they are current and accessible. Methods can include guided discussions, case studies, role plays, simulations, and workplace projects. Each activity should have a clear purpose, such as a simulation allowing for safe practice before entering a real environment. We also identify learner support arrangements like L&D support, reasonable adjustments, or mentoring. This ensures the training is structured, resourced, and delivered in a way that truly enables learners to succeed under the 2025 outcome standards. After the overall plan is developed, individual session plans can be prepared. While the training plan describes the complete program, a session plan provides detailed instructions for a specific session. Finally, every plan should be reviewed before implementation and evaluated after delivery. This feedback loop ensures that training plans are treated as controlled and continuously improving documents. A session plan includes specific outcomes, timings, and delivery methods, providing enough structure for any qualified trainer to implement. Before delivery, confirm the sequence is logical and the timing is realistic. After implementation, review evidence like learner feedback and assessment outcomes to improve future versions. Designing a vocational training plan is about creating an experience that gives learners a genuine opportunity to develop the skills required for vocational competence. To summarize, a strong plan begins with a clearly identified need and stakeholder consultation. It is based on a deep analysis of the target learners and uses current nationally recognized products. It logically sequences learning, includes appropriate methods and resources, and provides the foundation for individual session plans. Most importantly, it must be practical, inclusive, and effective for any trainer to implement. Thank you for watching this introduction to TAEDES412, Design and Develop Vocational Training Plans. As you complete this unit, focus on creating plans that are not just administrative documents, but practical tools for excellence in vocational education. Good luck with your study, and remember to stay engaged, ask questions, and use the support available to you.